Media and Games Invest published an interesting press release this morning, and I'm so glad to be able to welcome CEO Remco Westermann. How are you?
Hi, Martin. Good morning. Yeah, very well.
I'm so glad you were able to check in with us with such short notice. I'm going to just dive in with my first question. 45 minutes ago, you announced that you were moving your headquarters from Malta to Sweden, or you announced that you're going to propose to the board to do so. Why do you want to move?
Yeah, it's correct. After a long time, and I'm really happy that we were able to announce it now, we have decided as the management to propose this to the AGM to move the headquarters of Media and Games Invest to Sweden. There's several reasons for that. Let's say we like Sweden, we are in Sweden, we are listed in Sweden. We are very familiar with the local frameworks, with the legal framework. We're also applying the Swedish governance codex since we are listed in Sweden. And so as such, I mean, yeah, we feel very happy there. We had to do a lot of checks before of taking this decision, but it feels good. And apart from that, we also have a business already in Sweden. So we have offices, especially on the edtech side, so the media side. We are working in Sweden. So we also have operation on the ground. And and the most of all, or one of the most important reasons I would say is we have a lot of investors in Sweden. Institutionals as well as private investors.
Of course, I'm very happy to see you move closer, but if we move back to the decision in the first place, when did this idea to relocate arrive, and what do you hope to achieve with it?
Yeah, the idea didn't come at a fixed moment, but it came over time. We are, let's say, our headquarters still is in Malta. And Malta has, even though it's a very nice place to go on holiday, but it has become, from an image point of view, it has become worse. Now it was also listed a while ago, half a year ago, so on the on the Financial Action Task Force list as a country which has risk of money laundering, all those kind of things. And that has as an implication that certain investor groups are not allowed to invest anymore in Malta. So that's just taking us out of there. And the other reason is indeed that investors also see it being companies being listed in Malta being located in Malta as having an increased risk. So those were really important reasons on the negative side. So why we had to move away from Malta, and on the positive side, indeed, we don't have any operations there. So we have operations in Sweden. So it makes sense to move to a country where we have operations. And it also reduces a lot of administrative pain for us, because now we have to take care of 3 jurisdictions, which is Malta, Germany, and Sweden. Well, Germany and Sweden because of being listed there. And with moving to Sweden, it makes it just easier because we only have 2 to take care of.
Now you mentioned Sweden a lot, both in the press release and now in the interview, but you haven't really decided where in Sweden, or you haven't officially disclosed it. Will you be joining me here in Stockholm?
I guess so, yes. Now we have already offices in Stockholm, so it's a very obvious choice that we will move to Stockholm. Also for airport connections, all those things. I think Stockholm makes a lot of sense, even though I also like Gothenburg and a lot of other cities in Sweden a lot. But I think Stockholm is the most, solid choice for us. Because also, a lot of investor things are happening in Stockholm, and we have offices there, I said.
Now, Remco, I remember that about a year ago you announced that you were contemplating a move to Luxembourg, I think it was. Why this change from Luxembourg to Sweden?
Yeah, Luxembourg had, of course, being central in Europe, and also we had to do less changes to go to Luxembourg on our statutes and all those kind of things. So Luxembourg was basically, for a lot of reasons, even easier to move to than Sweden and more logical. So also now the decision to move to Sweden took longer because we just had to do many more checks on taxes and things. The things were more complex than moving to Luxembourg. But Luxembourg, even though everything was prepared, we had already, also transformed the company from a PLC into an SE. And then the unexpected happened, which was that Euroclear just told us we're not going to support Luxembourg. They changed their policies regarding connection to other countries, and they said we only support 6 countries in the world where you can go to. And that made it very clear. I mean, we could have gone to Luxembourg, but then we would have had to change the real shares that are traded now on the Stockholm Stock Exchange. We would have had to change them in CDRs, which would have had tax complications for a lot of investors. So that reason we said, Luxembourg is off. And then, if you can make a mistake, or let's say it was not a mistake, but it was by external reasons that we couldn't go on. And therefore, we really wanted to check very thoroughly that before we announce Sweden, that we're really sure that we can move there, and that there's not, for example, a big tax implication for moving away from Malta to Sweden, or legal things that are preventing us from that. So let's say it's not as easy as moving to another house in the same city. We also know that moving to another house in another city is a bit more things, but moving to another country is much more hassle, and especially for a company. And we wanted to really do our homework here. And to really be sure that what we propose to the AGM and what we propose to the investors is really solid and it works.
Talk about doing homework. I basically received homework when you released the press release here 45 minutes ago. And there is more interesting information here. Now, MGI has grown substantially, about 70% over the past 3 years, both through M&A and organically. And with this, in order to reflect the growth, you also announced some further changes, some corporate governance changes this morning. Can you help me explain what this means?
Yeah, we are, let's say, developing from a small company, which was, let's say, less than 80 employees. We have now over 900 employees. We have a market cap that has increased substantially. We have many more locations. So that makes also a company larger. And indeed, we have been growing at 70% per year in the last 3 years, and also strongly before that. And as a result of that, of course, you get other investors, and also those other investors expect other governance, other compliance. We're not a small startup anymore. I still like to treat the startup mentality in the company. So we're still fast, we're still dynamic, but on the other hand, the investors and also the size of the company require that we organize ourselves a bit different. And those are things that we also now announced. We first had to decide which country we go to, or let's say to finalize that. And then we will also now adopt to what is the local standards in Sweden, which means that we will have a nomination committee, that we will have an audit committee, that we will have a remuneration committee. Part of that needs to be put in place by the AGM. Part of it can be put in place by the board. So those are the things that we're now working on. And also, let's say the code of conduct, we were already applying in Sweden. But another thing, for example, internal control procedures, also that's something where we're working on. So we have, for example, KPMG now supporting us with a big team to really get our procedures more formalized, which also would potentially let us move to a higher market segment of the stock market. So a lot of things going on there also. So it's not only in a company like having new products and having new customers and improving the games and those kind of things, but it's also, of course, making sure that the organization grows with it and also structures with it.
Okay, so we have both a relocation, a physical relocation to Sweden, to Stockholm, and we have this organizational change. Can you help me put this on a timeline? When will this transformation be complete?
Yeah, we will do things as fast as possible, but of course, for a lot of things, we have to wait for the AGM, which would combine with our financials. So that will be, let's say, end of H1. And moving to Sweden, you have your book years with the company where you have accountant checks, etc. And the logical point to move is by the change of a year, because then you have a full book year with one accountant and the full book year with another accountant, because another country has another accountant. So the logical, or what we are aiming at, is to move by the 1st of January 2023 to Sweden. But of course, the committees, all those things can move already a lot faster. So we will do all the steps, and it's a step-by-step thing. It's a lot of work that has to be done and has already been done. So also thanks to the team for that. But we're working on it.
Remco, I know that you're still in the silent period before you release your quarterly numbers, but I still like to involve the chat a bit. There's people asking about your future plans. Can you describe what's in line for us?
Yeah, we are indeed in the silence period, so it's difficult to say. We have already announced that for last year's numbers, we gave an indication of our revenues for last year and also our EBITDA, that we are within the range, or let's say actually on the higher side of the range. So there should be no surprises on our financials for 2021. Looking forward, the company is extremely strong positioned with the combination of media and games. So the flywheel that we have, more games, more people in the games, more ads in the games, more data from the games makes the media side stronger, and vice versa. The gaming side is stronger by getting better access to customer acquisition, but also getting more money from selling its ads. So this flywheel that we have built in the last years is really starting to further continue. And we have, of course, our midterm forecast, which is at least growing with 20 to 30% per year on the revenue side, with an 25-30% EBITDA and an EBIT, etc. It's all on the website, by the way, in our presentations. So we have those targets, but company is really well positioned. It's fun. We started very well into the year, and I'm looking forward, of course, to also showing the results for this year. But let's first look at the results for last year then. And we are going to announce them on February 28th, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to February 28th as well. I'm hoping to be able to interview you then as well, and we can go deeper into the company structure, the M&As, the activities that you have been up to. But this broadcast was dedicated to the press release you released this morning, so I think we have gone through that. So I'm going to thank you for your participation, Remco, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I would also like to thank all our investors for their patience regarding our choice of a new location, because we had announced that we will. And this is now, I'm really happy that we announced it. And also looking forward to the next interview. Thank you very much.
Of course. Bye-bye.